Welcome to Whisky.com, where fine spirits meet. My name is Lüning, Horst Lüning, and I'm the master taster of Whisky.com. And today you see a big grin on my face, one of my very, very favorite whiskies here on my cask in a huge box. I first tasted this whiskey in the mid-90s, late 90s, and then the bottle was just a bottle. No tube, no box, no nothing. But it was quite expensive then, and it was only available in a few dozen or 100 pieces. And it was said, well, this is the bottle especially produced for the crown, for the British crown. Well, this wasn't quite right. The Royal Lochnagar brand got its Royal from Queen Victoria. The Lochnagar Distillery is located close to Balmoral Castle in Scotland, which is the summer castle of the royal family in Scotland, and the Queen, Her Royal Highness, Queen Elizabeth, is visiting Scotland every year in summer. And I was there in summer also, and I waited at the gate at the Balmoral Castle, side by side to the distillery, for the Queen, and then she came out. Yeah. I also visited the Highland Games in Brema, which is several miles to the west, and there's the royal booth where the Queen watches the Highland Game, tossing the tabor and tug of war and whatever they are playing there. And this booth is a wooden shed. Well, it's quite remote, and it's as it was 100 years ago. And Queen Victoria visited the Highland Games also, and she rode by horse for her after tea dram to the Lochnagar Distillery. And then she said, well, the whiskey is that good, I will give the distillery a Royal Varant. And therefore, the Royal Lochnagar got its Royal, and they repeated the Royal Varant 2 times. The Royal Lochnagar single malt whiskey, aged 12 years, well, it's a little cheap, and it lost its name for being that cheap. And the distillery edition, which came out later, which is finished in, I think, sherry wood, they never made it to a famous bottle, I'm afraid. It's really good. I like that bottle very much. But this cheap appearance in the supermarkets, well, they have a problem. This bottle is one of very few, and they select special cask without an age statement for this special bottling. And here is, they say, the Selected Reserve of Royal Lochnagar, a special release of precious few individually numbered bottles drawn from selected casks held in reserve to commemorate the very day of Queen Victoria's visit to Royal Lochnagar in 1848. Rich and memorable, this limited edition Selects Reserve is deep amber in color with a well-rounded character. It's complex, subtle, elegant, and sophisticated, as a connoisseur's approval most surely demands. 43% ABV, and well, here we go. Some paper in it. And here on the inside, something written. When Queen Victoria came here with Prince Albert in 1848, Prince Albert, he was a German from Coburg, she unknowingly made it possible to create the whiskey in this handcrafted box. For Royal Lochnagar, named in honor of her visit, became famous and prospered, although one of Scotland's smallest distillery. Drawing water from a stream that flows through Balmoral Estate and fed the royal horses. And with its exquisite little copper pot stills, this selected malt whiskey still has a privileged start in life, enhanced by handcrafting and long fermentation. Well, the distillery, when I visited this, I visited several times. Once I went to the Highland Games. Yeah, I said that. And there, the distillery manager told me that they switched from 48 hours of fermentation of the beer to 96 hours, and this leads to a more intense, more characterful beer, which then will also find itself in the final distilled spirit. Fine aging in refill sherry butts and casks, hand-selected for bottling on their anniversary of that first royal visit, has given this individual numbered limited edition Selected Reserve is richly wooded, fruity nose, smooth mouthfeel, and refined, well-rounded character. As I said, I had a bottle in 1995, 1997, and it was the very, very best I had then. Deep amber in color, its sweet and subtle complex. Its polished flavor as likely to attract connoisseurs today as then, of course. I don't know if this is silk or plastic. Don't know. Yeah, wonderful label. Produced in Scotland by the Royal Lochnagar Distillery, Crathy, Ballarter, Aberdeenshire. Yes, the valley to Brema and Balmoral Castle. It's only open to the east, and there's Aberdeen, so it belongs to Aberdeenshire. Selected Reserve, individual bottle number 2936, from a quantity of 6540, bottled in the year 2008. So I got really an old one. So it stood there in my office for years. I remember, yes. And now it wasn't the time to open. I don't know how often they produce this whiskey, and if it's how well it is distributed over the world. I have no idea. But it's quite difficult, I think, to get one of those. And they will be quite expensive. Yeah. And those 6,500 bottles, I think I heard something about 15 casks. They select every year 15 casks. Full sherry, dark fruits, mild oakiness, some vanilla, and fruitiness. For 43% ABV, it's intense. It's massively intense. A strong aroma. Full impact in your mouth, mouth-watering. Second gulp, and some spiciness from the oak, sherry, nutty, but creamy in your mouth. Wonderful mouthfeel. No bitterness at all. So there's no age statement on the bottle, just the bottling date. You can't say if it's 8 years, 12 years, 20 years, 40 years. No idea. But I don't think that it's too old, because the bitterness of the oakiness is missing. So it's wonderful, smooth and fruity. And there might be some older whiskies in, but also some younger whiskies which bring this fruitiness and fresh aroma. And the aftertaste, wonderful long, no bitterness at all. Oh, 43% ABV, just the right strength. They wonderfully made it. Intense, strong. Yeah. Don't spoil a drop. Yeah. Thank you for watching Whisky.com. Stay tuned, there's more to come. Feel free to discuss this video with me on our newly opened forum, and feel free to share this video with your friends.